Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch here. Today we're back with another game from the World Cup of Pokemon. Once again, I am playing for the first round, the qualifying round for Team US Northeast. This time around, I'm going to be against a one-time teammate and good friend of mine, Tace. Tace has been someone who's been playing now for a couple of years in the tournament scene, despite being on the newer side, maybe on the younger side of the tournament community spectrum. He is without a doubt one of the more accomplished players, having gone positive in a number of tournaments such as SPL, Smogon, Snake Draft, and the World Cup of Pokemon, coupled with some success in individual tournaments such as making Smogon Tour playoffs and making respectable runs into the official ladder tournament playoffs as well. Overall, Tace is someone who I definitely did not want to get paired up with. There is no refuting that. We are quite familiar with each other after having teamed together in the Smogon Snake Draft. In fact, I got picked in the first round of that, second overall, and we took him second overall in the third round. He was someone who I really wanted to team with. I was super excited to be with him. I was vocal about that as well, and working with him for about 2-3 months in that stretch was really fun for me. But unfortunately now I had to, the tables had turned and we were now facing each other on the big stage here for the World Cup Pokemon in what was probably the most, paid attention to, the most featured group of the tournament in the first round, so it's pretty cool. As you guys may know, I played Gary Oak in my first game, which was on Friday of last weekend. I'm recording this Thursday, it's going on Friday, so it's about a week ago from when you're seeing this is the point. This was the day after that. This was Saturday at 3 p.m. that afternoon. I had all my 3 games in a row, and I'm bringing them to you chronologically. But if you haven't seen the Gary Oak games, and if you want to see some more intense offensive SSU tournament action, click the pause button on this video right now and go check that one out. It's the last video uploaded on this channel. I promise you it's worth your time. I give some deep analysis in the game. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and stop dilly-dallying here and actually get into this game, as I know a lot of you guys want to see this game. And I also promise I try and keep it, under 3 or 4 minutes before team preview last game. I went slightly over 5 minutes. But anyway, so right off the bat, I knew Tace wasn't going to have much time to go off of my replay against Gary because I was playing 3 games in a row, and that's kind of why I played the teams as I did. I knew that he would focus in on me using more balanced and bulky offensive teams, which I default to, with more standardized options, and because of that, I knew right off the bat that I wanted to deviate. I wanted to use something exciting. Maybe I could still use bulky offensive balance, but it had to be something, different, a different defensive core, or a different offensive Pokemon that maybe could catch him off guard. And I ended up looking through his teams, and I noticed that he kind of did a lot of the same. He definitely kept within the standards of the metagame. Because of that, I wanted to take the more aggressive route and say, okay, I can use something explosive to really exploit his cores. And one big thing here was, I noticed he didn't use much Blissey defensively, and because of the lack of Blissey, I thought that Re-Attack Volcarona was almost a shoo-in for making progress if he didn't use Heatran. So my main goal here was choose a team that had a Volcarona plus like a hardcore Heatran answer. And ultimately, since it was 3 attacks Volcarona, it devolved into an offensive team very, very quickly. Because A, offense doesn't give much room for things like Magma Storm, Heatran to come in and get set very often. And B, a lot of the best things that can kind of chip Heatran, synergize well with Volcarona, are things with knockoff like Scizor and Weavile, which you will see in my team. Because of that, ultimately this became what I would call a hyper offense. You could just call it an offense if you like, but it has 4 setup sweepers, a Scarfer with Misty Train and Trick, and then a Rocker with Smackdown. So, the team was offensive is the point of it. I brought some interesting sets here. First off, the Dragonite is no dual wing beats. Dragon Dance, Ice Punch, Earthquake, Roost. It's a more creative set. The idea was getting the one-shot on things like Landorus T and Garchomp opens up the door a ton for my own Landorus T and Scizor. Also, Pokemon that I very commonly face, and we see 2 Pokemon that seem vulnerable to Ice Punch as well. Earthquake in general feels great. It makes it so that Dragonite very much is a good durable check to every single Heatran set, which is cool. Also hitting things like Magnezone, Melmetal, and seeing as Ice plus Earthquake actually pairs really well against each other, you're doing damage to everything but like Slowbro and Buzzwole. And Buzzwole, A, was something I haven't seen Taste use at all, and B, I've got Flame Body for it, so I figured, okay, I've got my chances there as well. If I force him to attack in a Flame Body, that's an out, if you know what I mean. Yeah, anyway. Also, I wanted to use Swords Dance, Life Orb, Scizor with some bulk, Swords Dance 3 attacks, Weavile, Scarf Tapu Fini, and there's going to be a Smackdown, Rocky Helmet, Stealth Rock Landorus T, bit of a custom set meant towards chipping down things for our physical attackers to sweep and getting up rocks. Well, also to turn Defog from Corviknight and defensive shenanigans from Skarmory. Alright, without further ado, Tace also used a hyper-offensive team. Very surprising pick from him. We never see that from him. Going into the game, I knew for a fact this had to be Scarf Fini. In the sense that makes the most sense. And because of that, I thought that his Garchomp would probably be Swords Dance or Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock, Swords Dance, or just Swords Dance 3 attacks without Scale Shot. Which kind of opens the door. You really have the coverage to hit things that Dragonite and Weavile might not be able to, so Dragonite and Weavile would be kind of the win conditions, whereas Garchomp would be the breaker. Volcarona, a nice complementary win condition. It also checks the grass types, which can come in handy, and Magnezone, a trapper there. I was thinking it was probably going to be a Scarf Magnezone, as extra speed control in this type of team was great. And let's see if I was right or wrong and get to the game here. Right off the bat, I decided to lead off with my Scarf Tapu Fini. Look at it in this matchup. It looks so good against this entire team. And yeah, so again, right after 5 minutes going to the preview. Sorry guys, it definitely took a little longer than I wanted, but I wanted to get all the nitty-gritty details in. I come in with the hard-hitting facts, you know how it is. Anyway, I kind of predicted him to lead Weavile into my likely Landorus T lead. Part of me wanted to lead Scizor, but I didn't know. He might have been like a Specs on the zone, or it might have been a bulky Volcarona. I didn't want to, risk getting trapped or burnt. I didn't have U-turn my Scizor, so ultimately Fini felt like the best lead. It does really well against him. Look at the dual stab against this team. Nothing switches into both. So I just go ahead and go for the safe Moonblast here. I figure, okay, maybe he goes Magnezone, but that's still taking 25%, and also chance special attack drop, and it's a 50-50. If he flash cannons into Volk or volts into Landorus T is fine. But B, if he goes in his own Fini, that's a ton of chip, and nothing else switches in reliably, so I felt really comfortable just clicking the Moonblast here. Felt like a good spot regardless, and I do get that Moonblast off. Not only am I going to get a nice 26% chip off, but I also am now able to get that turn right. He doesn't go for Volt Switch, he goes for Flash Cannon. That's 21 into Volk, which I don't really need here a ton because he's got Dragonite to check me. Speaking of Dragonite, by the way, I double into my own, and here's what I was thinking there. First and foremost, with Misty Drain, he's probably not a Dragon move, but also Scale Shot with Multi-Scale for the first hit, I'm likely able to live anyway. So I thought that he had to be offensive on this team, and Ice Punch would get the kill. That was great. And also, I kind of thought he'd go to his own Dragonite, and if we got into a boosting more, mine would always win with Ice Punch. So that's kind of what my logic was there. I felt like a good mid-ground there. But also, Flash Cannon doing 21% meant that he was not Specs or even Modest no likelihood. I can't remember that off the top of my head, but I didn't have a bunch of Volk in that Volcarona, so yeah. Anyway, he goes Fini here, scouting for the Ice Punch, or maybe double switch to Weavile. I do 12% there. He confirms he's Scarf, and now he goes for a safe Moonblast, much like I did before, into the Steel type. This time he hits Scizor, and now here I go for knockoff into the Volcarona, and I only do 49% with a Life Orb Adamant Max Attack knockoff, which means he's very bulky Volcarona. Likely a Safeguard or Roost variant at least. Maybe not Safeguard with Misty Terrain. Could be 2 attacks. Anyway, I go Landorus T, and he confirms his bulk as Flamethrower only does 40%, despite no special defense investment. Now I double the Dragonite here on another Flamethrower. Kind of surprised he didn't scout for the Rock move in all honesty. But I did have Smackdown. Smackdown didn't kill bulky Volcarona though. I didn't have Stone Edge, so ultimately that play worked out pretty nicely for him. And since I got a knockoff there, A, this Volk is now taking Rocks damage every time it switches into Rocks up, and B, his Defogger is a choice Fini that's also taking Rocks and be at 75%, so that's a pretty good turn for me if you ask me. Anyway, just to make matters even more clear-cut, Flamethrower only did 11 to Dragonite, so that's clearly not special attack invested. It's a bulky Volk, which is fine for me, honestly, as long as I keep Rocks pressure up. Anyway, he goes Weavile here, and I predict that or the Magnezone and just go for the Earthquake. I kind of thought that he would think I might be dual Wing Beat and go Magnezone, thinking, oh, he's not Earthquake. But also, I figured Weavile might be a mid-ground play as him, since I'm at Roost and then Triple Axle could kill me through Multi-Scale. So I wanted to get all over that, and getting damage on this Weavile was huge. Puts it into range of things like Fini Moonblast, which didn't kill from full health. Any future attack from Dragonite can kill it. Now, all of a sudden, attacks from my own Weavile have a chance of killing it, and anything from Landorus T kills it as well. So, great turn there for me, in my opinion. He doubles the Garchomp here, but I go Scizor. Now, here, I don't want to, risk the Fire move, so I go Landorus T. And, interestingly enough, he doesn't go Rocks or Fire move. He goes Swords Dance. Great play on his end there. Now, I go to Fini here, predicting him to go for maybe a Scale Shot or a coverage move. Because I didn't dismiss the prospect of Scale Shot, but also, he didn't have anything else to hit me. So, yeah. I get it in an Aqua Tail, and then I get another Intimidate as Earthquake comes in, so I'm able to negate his boost, and then Aqua Tail there, it does 49, plus he takes Helmet, plus 46 from Earthquake, which is pretty huge there. Now I go Fini, predicting the next Aqua Tail, and thankfully I get that turn right. That's huge. Critical hit there, really unfortunate, because, again, Fini is so good in this matchup. Now suddenly, it can be in range of things like a +1 dual Wing Beat, or an Earthquake in the future. Weavile, you don't want to take hits from that. Moonblast 2 KOs, so it's not great, but ultimately, I was able to pivot around this Garchomp really nicely, and now I'm in a position to get a revenge heal here. He goes Magnezone. I'm fine with that. Takes Rocks, 68. Moonblast brings him below half. Suddenly, Moonblast 2 KOs it. Moonblast looks amazing against this team with Rocks up now. And I get Volcarona in another Flash Cannon, getting that play right, which is huge. He goes Dragonite here. Now, here's a really unfortunate turn. I missed Fire Blast, so I don't break Multi-Scale. It would have only done about 15%, maybe 20%. I don't think so. I'm modest, but it's still probably, I'm thinking probably do about 65 to 70 if it was not resisted. So multi-scale makes it a 4 times resistance. So divide that by 4, you're thinking 15, 17%. But break multi-scale had been huge because it kind of would have forced a roost. But ultimately, it was okay here as I'm able to get Lander's T in. And he goes for the dual wing beat to make sure not to mess around. And that breaks his multi-scale anyway. Now, it does mean that if he fogs, Volk doesn't take rocks, which not great, but at least I get Weavile in here, and that forces a fodder of the guard chunk, so he doesn't want to let the Fini take damage or fodder off anything else. So yeah, that's great. Puts us in a 5-5 position, and the Fini is now forced in. Now, part of me really wanted to click Swords Dance here in a defog. That would be amazing for me, as it would force a kill, and then force him to go back to the Fini, and then relock into something like, relock into something like Moonblast to kill me, and even then Moonblast wouldn't kill me from full health, so like I could actually just win the game on the spot technically. But if he was max special attack like Modest or something, Moonblast could kill, coupled with the fact that if he just went for an attack here and I click Swords Dance, then I'm completely blanked. And also the fact that if I click Swords Dance on defog, Volcarona is now able to come in. It lives a +2 knock. I'd have to get another Swords Dance in, +4 knock into it, and risk Flame Body. If I get Flame Bodied, then Weavile is just useless. So all in all, I didn't think the risk was worth the reward here. I figured he may very well defog, but my best play was to switch to something I could have used that while I was taking Moonblast. So I go to Scizor here, and he goes defog. That's a really good play on his end. Unfortunately, Scizor can't really beat Volcarona without Rocks up here. So what I do is I double back to Fini, and now I go for a Hydro Pump, knowing very well that he is not going to want to risk his Fini again, and Dragonite's multi-scale is broken, so he doesn't want to take Moonblast. So he stays in here to scout what I lock into, hoping that I Moonblast. But I Hydro Pump, I do 85 there, weakening the Volk, and now I get another Hydro Pump into that Fini, and now I predict him to predict Scizor, and either double switch out or click a Water move, and he clicks Surf, so my Hydro is out damaging that, and now suddenly he's weaker. I go Dragonite here on the follow-up Surf, hopefully, but I catch the Dragonite. That's fine, however, though. He knew I was locking a Water move, I knew he was locking a Water move, we both went Dragonite, right? But he knows I'm Ice Punch, and I know for fairly certain he's not dual wing beat plus Ice Punch. I don't think that's very likely, especially with Weavile and Fini. I know you say I also have Weavile and Fini, but I think Magnezone kind of Flash Cannon can chip grounds a lot of time in early game, and his Dragonite, he's got a Guard Chomp with Swords Dance, whereas I have a bulk of Lander's T. So I think the teams kind of played differently in that sense. So my set here definitely worked out a little better. It kind of was a very similar matchup, but this set probably was the distinguisher, pushing it in my favor a little bit. But anyway, here's really cool because I get a free roost because of that, bringing my multi-scale back intact, meaning I'm checking Volcarona forever. I'm checking Magnezone even well enough. He goes Moonblast here. He gets a crit, but it doesn't really matter. Now he goes Dragonite, and I predict this that I want to keep it low, basically. So I go Quiver Dance here. And since I'm modest, +1 Psychic's always going to be doing around half, maybe slightly over half. I think the roll is like 47 to 54. Something like that. I do 49 there. That's fine. I leave it in range of pretty much everything. And I get a kill with Weavile here. I go for Icicle Crash here, so I don't want to get Flame Bodied and knock into the Volk. That's fine. He goes Fini for the revenge kill. Great play on his end, but I go Scizor, and once again, I predict the Moonblast correctly. That's great. So while we're in a 4-4 position, I feel like I've got some momentum here. I get for a knockoff here, which forces a roost in the Volcarona, and Misty Dream means I can't get burnt. He now doubles to Weavile, predicting me to switch to Dragonite here, and that's a great play on his end, because now he can potentially go for the Triple Axle. He actually goes for the knockoff there, though, and because of Pickpocket, I steal his boots, so he doesn't have boots. I go for knockoff anyway, because from this range, knockoff with an item would have gotten a kill, but without an item, unfortunately, never does. But Icicle Crash also only has a 2 or 3 in 16 chance to kill. So I want to do is force damage to put him into Ice Shard range. Now, if he has Triple Axle with 3 hits plus the Speed Tie also gets to kill. But keep in mind, he has to get all 3 hits plus win the Speed Tie to win that 1v1. And even then, I could potentially go to Scizor or Fini on the Ice Shard and tank multiple. So I was okay playing that game, knowing that he might not even beat Triple Axle. And thankfully, he only hits 1. Even if he hits all 3, I live all 3. I would have lived all 3, and then it would have been an Ice Shard range, would have been a 50-50 Speed Tie. But that helped me a ton. Maybe makes up a little bit for the miss or the crits before, but I don't think the miss really mattered as much. Looking back at it again, looking how little as Dragonite did. But health on Fini is always valuable, so yeah, I'll take that for sure. And now I force him out with Ice Shard. He knows that, so I go Shard here. It does only 11 to Volk, and I don't want to risk a burn here, so I hit another Crash, which hitting Crash definitely give me a little bit of a heart attack here, but thankfully it worked out. Now he goes to Fini here. I once again go Scizor predicting Moonblast, and I get it right, which is huge. And without a critical hit, I'm living any future one, and I know he's Scarf Magneton, so I could Roost off here. And now here's a crucial turn. I should have just clicked Knock Off here, because if he clicks Volt Switch, then he's not dying, but either the Weavile dies or the Fini takes Knock Off, which A means he's slower than my Fini, so my Fini just wins the game, or B means that he'll stay in Bullet Punch range and da-da-da. And anyway, if I get a kill on the Weavile, I win. If I get a knockoff on the Fini, I win. If I kill this, I win. I actually roosted here thinking if he volts, a roost is better, because then both those Pokemon are in Bullet Punch range, and I could be very healthy, because Volt Switch is doing around 50, so that'd be great. However, if he Thunderbolts, I also always live Thunderbolt into Roost into Thunderbolt, because he does 62 max, I'm at 74, so if you do 62, I Roost, then I go down to 12%, I Roost up and back up 62. So even with 2 max rolls, I would have lived at 2 HP in this situation. I calc that out. But ultimately, Knock was just a better play. Wouldn't have risked him getting a critical hit. But thankfully speaking, despite me taking an unnecessary risk, he rolls a little bit on the higher end, I believe, with the Thunderbolts. Yeah, as you see there, he gets absolute max the second half. But it doesn't matter. I was always going to die to Life Orb anyway, unless he gets double min. So that's fine. Ultimately, we trade. No crit. No big deal there. He goes Fini now, and I can clinch the game by going Weavile, because Ice Shard is going to almost always put him into range of Earthquake. Now, apparently he had a bit more bulk on this Fini, and I did calculate, definitely had some HP investment to make it so that it was a roll with Earthquake to kill after Ice Shard. But I'd have to imagine it was in my favor unless he had way more bulk than I imagined, in which case, maybe he's not even max speed, my Fini, you know. But like worst case scenario, it's A, he has to live the combination of Ice Shard and Earthquake, which probably favors me, and B, he has to win the speed tie to win the game. So I'm pretty sure the game like strongly favored me. It at worst was a 50-50 plus rolls. It at best was like 50-50 plus very favorable rolls. Because let's say I Ice Shard here, it doesn't kill. Let's say I Ice Shard and then I Earthquake. Then he's at like 1 or 2%, and I go to my Fini, and Moonblast would kill this. So he'd have to win the speed tie, put my own Fini in range of Ice Shard. And my Fini would not have been weaker if not for the Aqua Tail crit anyway, so then would have lived that. So that's kind of why I was like, you know what, I think I kind of deserve the game at this point. And thankfully speaking, I do get the roll. Ice Shard puts him in range of 31, and then Earthquake, which would have always killed an offensive Fini here, was a roll against his HP invested Fini, and thankfully I got that roll. Although, if he's in HP invested, then also Moonblast was a roll to a Kiyomi. So, a lot of factors there, but thankfully, obviously, the Weavile can take out my weakened Dragonite, but it cannot take out the faster Choice Scarf Moonblast Fini, killing it from 11%, giving me my first win from this World Cup Pokemon in a very tight, hyper-offensive game. I enjoyed this one a ton. Thank you so much to Taste for giving me a great game, using a really cool team. Let me know what you guys think of this game. Personally, I think Scarf Tapu Fini went ham in this game. Absolutely popped up. Dragonite really did well as well. Bring a couple clutch turns here, be it the Ice Punch or the revealing Ice Punch to really put pressure on him. Earthquake damaging that Weavile, or the timely Roost. Scizor definitely did well as well. Got a couple of clutch knocks off, even Weavile. So all in all, this is a pretty solid game. All my Pokemon contributed, but Fini was definitely the MVP, as you see here. Getting a couple crucial kills on A, the Weavile at the end, and also B, just forcing the damage on that Corona. So yeah, what do you guys think of this game? Did you enjoy? If so, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know any feedback down below, what you thought of the teams, the game, etc. And be sure to stay tuned, because we got my third game coming in against Olodin of Team Brazil. Also a very strong, well-known player. And yeah, I'm going for that 2-1 in the death group. I take that any day of the week. Let me know. All right, bye guys. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you later. Peace.